Our principles are important to us at UU Catskills, and we live our values on a daily basis. We affirm that Black Lives Matter. We are a welcoming congregation for the LGBTQ community. We are a congregational affiliate of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. And we are an active voice in the effort to address climate change, which by today, a lot of our members are missing because they're in the big rally in New York City that's going on, climate change. Our sanctuary is built on tribal land of the Lenni Lenape people. You can visit our website, uucatskills.org, to find contact information or to be added to the mailing list and also to find the latest newsletter for us. You will also find newsworthy items on upcoming events in our UU community on the website. If you're a visitor online and would like to be added to our mailing list, you can put your name and email address in the chat box area on Zoom. Reminder that people of all ages, children, young and old, are welcome here at UU Catskills. There's a space across the hall in the back for anyone who would like to hear this service while being able to freely move about. I have a few announcements this morning. The September meeting of the 8th Principal Task Force is this Thursday, September 21st at 5 at the sanctuary. Masks are required at that meeting. Next month, we will go back to Zoom meetings on the second Thursday of the month at 5. We also have a change of time for a meeting for the 30+ September meeting. It's going to be Friday, September 29th at 5 p.m. The contact for that is Erin Hilgart. Okay. Reminder to please take a moment and turn off your cell phones or other electronic devices. Give yourself permission to be fully present here and now. After the service, please stay for an in-person or virtual coffee break. For our prelude this morning, Catherine Catabiani will perform Adagio by Franz Joseph Haydn. Thank you, Catherine. Our chalice lighter today is Jake. He knows how to do it. Technical difficulties.
This happened last time.
Oh.
With the new kid.
You have experience. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. Thanks, Jake. I'm asking, so I want you to join me in the chalice lighting words on your order of service. We light this chalice in grateful, loving community, even in the darkest of times. May its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope. Now, please join me in saying the words for the unison affirmation that are in your order of service. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. Our opening words are with Mark Auenstein.
Good morning, everyone. Our opening words today are excerpted from a poem by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. The poem's title is Choose to Bless the World. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice, anesthetization, or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting, that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage.
Thank you, Mark. Please stand if you're able and join in singing hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Number 361. Come Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Our Not for Children Only story today is by Naomi King, and it's called Thankful Dogs, a story for all ages. Once there was, and once there was not, a family of dogs. Like many dog families, there were dogs that had wandered off the street, and fancy dogs with fine pedigrees, and dogs from the shelter, and dogs who had been born into the family. They ran together, they played together, they tumbled together in great furry masses of tails and snouts and paws. They loved each other very much. Even if sometimes they growled at one another, even if sometimes they worried if there were enough biscuits in the tin on the counter. Even if some dogs didn't feel good and snapped at another dog, they loved each other very much. Each night as the moon rose, the family of dogs went outside and sat in a great circle on the soft grass and watched the moon rise and looked into each other's eyes and wagged their tails. It was a doggy thing to do. Then when the moon was a dog's tail above the horizon, like that, the eldest dog would bay loudly at the moon. Oh! Like that. And what do you think that dog was baying about? The eldest dog was telling the other dogs and the moon and the whole world what he was thankful for. He was baying, "Thank you for this day, for the running and the jumping. Thank you for the biscuits and the tasty treats. Thank you, little brown dog, for nosing the bowl my way. Thanks for being able to sing. Thanks for this and everything." Then the youngest dog would point her nose to the moon and begin to bay. Oh! I should be a dog. Yeah. And she was saying, "Thank you, wonderful sun that warmed my back. Thank you, fragrant frangipani, so sweet. Thank you, pack of dogs, for wiggly dances. Thanks for the ringing ice cream truck. Thanks for this and all my luck." Then one dog after another would join the baying, saying their thanks until they were singing together and to the moon. But they saved the best for last and howled together, "Thank you, mother, and thank you, father. Thank you, sister, and thank you, brother. Thank you, neighbor, and thank you, friend. Thank you, stranger, and thank you, world. We share our thanks for this, for every being, whether near or far, no matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are. Thanks." They did this no matter what the weather, no matter how many or how few of the family was home, no matter how they felt. The dog family gathered together each and every night to greet the moon and share their thanks. Let's share their circle of gratitude now by joining together in some grateful howling. Amen.
I still thought that was funny.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I did it for you. All right, so we are going to send our kids, are we going to send them over to childcare? Is that where we're going?
Well, I guess I'm the only.
You're it, Jake. Leave this friendly place. Love give light to every face. May the kindness which you learn light your hearts till you return. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this moment to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. If you would like, you can raise your hand to share a joy. It's Ellen Harrington. Our prayer and meditation today. Our prayer is from A Blessing for Risk Takers and Failures by Reverend Robin Tanner. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good, but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are those who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the labels as less than, for they know the wisdom in the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses for hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. Our offertory today, through our half-plate donations, we contribute to local organizations who are living our values in the work they do. Our social action team has selected 7 local charities for the year. The donations will be divided up equally amongst these 7 local charities: Seed Sowing Farm, Center for Creative Education, Hudson River Sloop Clearwater, Kingston Emergency Food Collaborative, A.J. Williams Myers African Roots Center, Hudson Valley LGBTQ Center, and the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. You can also donate using the donate page on our website. You can use Venmo or by mailing your check through the US mail. We have a QR code on the order of service also if you want to connect to that. Our offertory music is Rondeau, Les Barricades Mystérieuses by Francois Couperin, which is performed by Catherine Carabiani. Thank you, Catherine. Our sermon today, it comes to us through our program that we are participating in called Soul Matters, which comes to us through the Unitarian Universalist Association, our parent body. It's by the Reverend Julie Stoneberg, who at the time was a minister at the Unitarian Fellowship of Peterborough in Ontario, Canada. It was from, she wrote it on she presented it on June 3rd, 2012 at first. Homily today is called To Bless and Not to Curse. And she's now a minister, by the way, at the Universalist Church in Church West in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Our ministers wander across the border. Okay. She shares her words. Oh yeah, right. So anyway, it is a blessing to be, it is a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here with one another. Do you remember the scene in Sleeping Beauty when the fairies come to bless the long-awaited baby princess? In the Disney version, Mistress Flora, Mistress Fauna, and Mistress Merryweather float in, looking rather like colorful, plump nuns, and begin to take turns bestowing blessings on the sweet child. First, she is given the blessing of beauty. Second, the blessing of song. But alas, we never know what the third blessing is, because Mistress Merryweather is preempted by the arrival of a wicked fairy. Flashes of lightning, ominous music, doom and gloom, and then all hear the curse that the princess will one day prick her finger on a spindle and go to sleep for 100 years. At a young age, we learn the difference between a blessing and a curse. Through Disney and storybooks, we very early figure out that we should cheer for the good fairies and boo the wicked ones. We also, I suppose, learn that only certain people can grant blessings or bestow curses. Fairies, witches, sorceresses, warlocks, priests, ministers, just the ones with special powers. And yet, each week we light our chalice, asking that we be inspired to bless and not to curse. In a traditional understanding, one that is not modern-day Unitarian Universalist, a minister is one who can bestow blessings. True, I'm a minister. like the pump from my bike tires. Well, hold on, I missed something. I'm not a minister, but I also curse a lot of things. Too many things. I curse things that don't work as easily as I think they should, like the pump from my bike tires. I curse things that won't cooperate by fitting into place, like the new part that is supposed to repair the valve on my airbed. I curse things that seem to leap out of my carelessly loaded arms, fall to the floor, and shatter. Sometimes I even curse people, like the guy who nearly ran me over in a crosswalk last week. Now, mind you, as I already said, Unitarian Universalist ministers don't possess any real magic. It's not as if I could cause harm with my curses. They don't have any real power. Or do they? I suspect we have all been in one of those uncomfortable situations when someone near us is spewing out vitriol, casting a nasty energy field that expands outward and seems to paralyze everyone around. When I experience such a thing, I feel like I have been slimed, cursed in some way, cursed to carry around the impact of all that negative feeling for hours or sometimes even days. It's like bullying. Bullying is a form of cursing, for it seems to exist solely to cause harm, to belittle someone else in the futile attempt to raise the status of the bully. And it has a lasting effect on the one being bullied. We've all experienced normal, everyday people just like us causing real damage with curses, with words and negativity, and it follows that we have the power to do the same. We can choose to use our gifts to draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. We have the ability to curse the world. And rather like the power of a grudge to be a poison in the heart of the person who carries it, I suspect that our curses, yours, mine, harm us, we, ourselves, far more than they could ever affect the person or thing toward which they are aimed. We carry both the impulse to curse And then the residue from our expressed curses is damaging to our own spirits, let alone a pretty darn ineffectual attempt to change anything at all. And still, knowing this, I sometimes resort, maybe even default, to cursing. Perhaps some of you do too. If only once in a great while, you might. I'm not talking about cussing or four-letter words or swearing. A curse has nothing to do with the specific words and everything to do with the energy we create and send around us. A curse can be uttered behind the mask of a saccharine smile. A curse can come as spam with degrading messages spread carelessly about. A curse actually needs no words at all. A curse simply seeks to call out the worst in others or in our endeavors or in our circumstances. Blah, ick, or as we say in Minnesota, ish. Shake it off. Just talking about curses calls up all kinds of negativity and gunk. Let's not talk about that anymore. Let's talk about blessing instead. After all, that is our theme. Blessing, blessing. Just saying the word feels good. A blessing also has nothing to do with specific words and has everything to do with the energy we create and send around us. It is an extension outward of attention and intention for the well-being of another. It is kindness offered and positive thoughts sent. To bless another is to show love and concern. Blessings are relational, human to human, nature to human, person to animal, bird to flower. Blessings involve an interaction infused with goodwill. In a beloved community such as this one, we strive to create here, as the one we strive to create here. Blessing rises between us, between our caring hearts, and out of the trust we place in one another. The first principle, affirmed by Unitarian Universalist communities, is the inherent worth and dignity of each person. Although I happen to believe that we are each born in blessing, notice that this principle does not say inherent goodness. We know that within each of us resides the potential for good and evil. Our work in the world is to feed the good, to grow the good, to insist upon seeing the incredible potential in ourselves and in others. Our work is to bless the world. There's a conundrum in this. To bless the world, we have to feel that we have the ability to do so. We worry that we'll be like the big-headed King Hugo, or if we take it upon ourselves to be a blessing. Who are we to be so gifted? How could we be so presumptuous? But blessing isn't about a power position. It's about loving intention. We are best positioned to receive blessing when we are on our knees. King Hugo knelt to finally receive his blessing. Knights are knighted on their knees. The Hebrew word for blessing, bracha, is rooted in the word for knee, suggesting that we receive blessing by kneeling down, by making ourselves small and receptive to all the gifts around us. And perhaps this is also the best position from which to give blessings. From a place of gratitude and humility, I took a class, not a place of power or privilege. When I was in seminary, I took a class called Dance as Spiritual Practice from Cynthia Winton Henry, one of the creators of the interplay. Many of you know that living embodied is one of the growing edges, and I took this class to challenge myself. One of the exercises we did was to walk randomly around a room that was rather crowded, with our eyes a bit blurred. We were instructed that whenever we bumped into one another, rather than react abruptly or to apologize, we were to offer our gratitude to one another for the encounter. I see this now as a practice in learning to bless one another. To the root that we have just tripped over, thank you for making me more aware. Thank you for nourishing the beautiful tree above. Bless you. To the spilled milk, thank you for giving me this moment as I wipe the table to stop and reflect. Bless you. To the person who gets under my skin, thank you for showing me my buttons and helping me to grow toward greater understanding. Bless you. gratitude, and blessing are inextricably bound together. Often, I think this ability to bless others and our world is born in our experience of feeling blessed. One depends on the other. The more we bless others, the more we likely are to feel blessed and be able, in turn, to offer that blessing to the world. If we were so blessed as to have been blessed regularly and with abandon as children, the more deeply we will feel blessed as adults. And the deeper our well of life-giving blessing, which we can draw upon and share with others. Now, you may feel that you have not, in fact, been blessed, and that therefore your well is dry. I have felt this way. I suspect most, if not all of us, have felt this way. In times of depression or grief or financial struggle or family strife, it's hard to find the blessing. It's hard to say thank you or to offer gratitude in such times. Blessing doesn't always come easy, and so we must practice it with intention, slowly, one drop at a time. One of my mother's favorite hymns was Count Your Blessings. And while I don't agree with its theology, I think there's truth in it. Even if you begin to count and only get to one and no further, it is better to have found that single blessing than to have found none at all. When you feel devoid of blessing, see if you can at least count to one. Just look at one thing to feel grateful for. And if you can't find something to be grateful for, perhaps you can choose to do something that you know will prevent someone else from feeling the void you feel. Choose to give a blessing. This is an act of resistance, to resist the impulse to succumb to all the negative messages around us. It's an act of resistance, to resist the feeling that we have nothing to give, no ability to be blessing and to bless the world. But as Reverend Parker so eloquently wrote in her poem, it is a choice to bless the world. To bless the world is an intentional choice. After each disappointment or failure, we've got to say, I choose to bless the world. After each broken heart, we've got to say, I choose to bless the world again. We have to choose it again and again and again. In our schools, we need not only anti-bullying campaigns, but we need also to teach children how to bless each other, to learn to remind themselves and their friends of who they are and who they want to become. We need blessing campaigns for all of us, to learn how to default to blessing rather than cursing. It takes work. It takes a community of support. Yesterday, I was feeling like I had nothing to give to this sermon, no blessing to offer, no blessing energy that felt like it was coming from my heart. I slipped a CD into the player of my car, a CD that was given to me by someone in this congregation, a recording of a talk given by the late, great poet John O'Donohue. And then the blessing came, a blessing that I can now pass on to you. O'Donohue began that talk with his poem, Bedacht, which means blessing in Irish. The poem also contains another Irish word, carach, which is a canvas boat or canoe. And so I offer you this blessing, Benacht. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance, hold on. Okay, here's the poem, Bedacht. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken you in a meadow of delight. In the canvas phrase and the korach of thought, and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow mind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. So blessed may it be. Okay, yeah.
All right, then, so the next hymn is 368. Now let us sing, and it is blessed with 2 parts.
Woo!
The lower voices are going to sing.
Let's see. Sing, be not afraid. Let us sing to the Lord.
Very good. And the higher voices are going to sing. I'm going to put in the low just to get you started.
Be not afraid. Sing to the Lord.
You ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Now
Let us sing, 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 sing. Let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice. Power of the praise within.
sing to the power of the hope within.
Power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Let us sing, sing. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Let us sing to the power of the hope within. Sing, your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Great job, everybody. Please join me in saying the closing words that are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we gather in our hearts until we are together again. You I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Go in peace. Join us for coffee time over here, and we have some refreshments also.